Greetings friends and Robloxians, I'm birdbrainsane. Please like and subscribe. Today I'm showing a mega steel factory, a steel farm build. The factory before you is something I've moved from my main kingdom to this alt account. It's 6 floors of steel milling. The bottom floor, a 7th floor, is steel presses making plates and bolts. The steel mill layout is a variation of the optimal steel farm DB Plays designer discovered. I'll post a link to his video. It is optimized using only one smelter, making iron feeding 4 steel mills. This second diagram shows the same build, but instead of collecting the steel in input-output chests, it drops the steel into holes, feeding the steel presses below. You could do just one layer of the steel farm and produce quite a lot of steel over time, but if you have the resources to scale it up, as I'm going to show you, then you will have massive amounts of steel. Refer to the diagram if necessary, but it's pretty simple layout and I've actually memorized it after doing a couple levels. First is 2 conveyors, then a smelter, then a randomizer. The right output of the randomizer, or the long edge, then gets 2 more conveyors, then another randomizer. The right output of that randomizer gets 1 conveyor, then a steel mill, then the input-output chest, which we remove when we're ready to feed the steel presses. Back to the first randomizer, place 2 input-output chests, then a right turn conveyor, and another input-output chest. After that is another randomizer. On the right side of the randomizer, place a single conveyor, then the steel mill, and now because space is tight, a right turn conveyor and an input-output chest. Again, the chest will be removed once we're ready to put in the steel presses below. The other end of the randomizer gets 1 conveyor, then a steel mill, then the final input-output chest. Still have 1 randomizer left open, so we go back over there, place 1 conveyor, then the steel mill, then the input-output chests. Now we're ready for the coal and iron totems. Of course, we need 1 coal totem to power up the smelter, and 3 iron totems are enough to keep that smelter busy. Then we go back to the steel mills and place 1 coal totem next to each single conveyor before this steel mill. Now this floor is ready for production. It doesn't really matter what order you put these things down in, but I find it best to start with the conveyors that feed the smelter, the randomizer, the conveyors on the right side of that randomizer, then another randomizer, then a conveyor, then the steel mill, then the chest. Again, it doesn't really matter what order you put these things down in, and further on in the video you'll see that I get into a repetition of laying them down in a more orderly fashion, or at least what I think is a more efficient manner. Each steel mill level is 4 blocks above the steel mill level below it. create the steel press floor. This has to be 7 blocks lower than the steel mill floor for the steel press to fit. I just place one steel press to make sure that it does fit, and then I place 2 conveyors. The first conveyor is directly underneath where the steel mill drops its steel from, and each steel press will be fed directly below the steel mills with 2 conveyors before them. That's because we need to put in these glass pillars, the protective tubes that keep the steel from bouncing all over the place when it drops down through. I've also found that placing one pane of glass or a ladder between the tube of glass helps kind of break the fall of the steel as it's coming down. Otherwise, the steel has a tendency to still bounce on the conveyor and fly out of the tube. So we want to make sure that we're trying to catch as much of the steel as possible. On occasion, one steel will still find its way into a funny nook or cranny or just fly off a conveyor, but we get the majority of it. I get a visitor while I'm building this, and I just let them know I'm building a huge steel factory. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that you'd like to see in the future. If you want to try this build and you need some help, let me know. If I've got some spare resources, I'd be glad to share. Thanks for all those who inspire me to make this video. Thank you for keeping it fun, being very creative, and remember to keep it imaginary.